Hello, I'm Christopher Caliendo. Music is my passion. Starting out as a child prodigy jazz guitarist raised in New York City, I learned how to compose music as a teenager and then pursued my passion formally at college in Massachusetts. Upon graduation, I won the Henry Mancini Scholarship for film scoring, which provided me an opportunity to obtain my Master's of Fine Arts degree at UCLA in California, while being a staff composer and orchestrator for CBS with such prominent television shows as Dallas, Knots Landing, and Paradise, winning an Emmy nomination for Paradise in 1987. In 1991, all 3 shows were canceled, and I was forced to be a freelancer for the first time. I started my own group called Chamber Jazz and recorded my first CD at Capitol Studios. In 1991, I visited Italy and met producer Giorgio Gallo, who secured a commission from the Vatican in Rome, which recognized me as the first American composer in music history commissioned by the Vatican for an international festival of sacred contemporary music. I was commissioned a second time in 1995, and under the collected title of The Mystic Saints, a 2-hour music spectacle brought together 4 of entertainment's most award personnel, 32 Emmys in all, to help mount The Mystic Saints as a PBS production for the Jubilee year 2000 on St. Peter's Square in Rome. It was at this time that I made the biggest mistake of my musical career. I used my own money to finance the bridge capital necessary to hire budget producers, administration costs, traveling costs, marketing costs, and meetings with both Andrea Bocelli and Annie Lennox's management teams, musical stars who were ideal for singing the roles of the saints in my production. Unfortunately, the unexpected financial crisis in the mid-90s forced PBS to change their production policy. The Vatican chose to feature traditional music, not on an unknown composer, let alone a 2-hour new spectacle for the church. I panicked and tried to mount a production in Utrecht, Holland, St. Patrick's Cathedral, Our Lady of Angels Cathedral in Los Angeles, still convinced I could mount the spectacle and make my name a household word. But despite the energy, commitment, cost, and discipline, it didn't happen. In 2001, I found myself exhausted, having an identity crisis, relocated to an apartment, sat down, and I thought, what do I do now? And then a paradigm shift occurred in my life that paved the way for developing the course you have chosen to invest in. I opened up the LA Times and saw an advertisement for a telemarketing position at Manufacturers Bank. And I thought, what better way to learn about wealth management than a commercial bank? To my surprise, they hired me. Why? Because the executives in human resources said, if you can sell music, you can sell anything. Additionally, you have the creative imagination to do so. The job description was to promote bank products over the phone to CEOs and presidents of middle market companies whose annual sales were between $10 and $50 million. Daunting, even frightening, and yet something compelled my confidence to learn a completely different skill set that could help my musical career and at the same time my ability to handle money. While working part-time, I generated a net income of $3,000 a month, which not only was more lucrative than working at a coffee shop, but provided me the opportunity to learn a variety of business skills, increase my financial stability, and ultimately fortify me with the confidence to learn a completely different language. An immense benefit to my musical career going forward. In December 2004, 2 years later, while walking back from a train station, I received a call from Sony Pictures, which led me to be chosen as the first composer in motion picture history to score an existing film, Sam Peckinpah's Major Dundee, starring Charlton Heston. When Sony Pictures asked me to rescore a Sam Peckinpah Western called Major Dundee starring Charlton Heston, this is the first time in film history a composer was commissioned to rescore an entire film. I was given 25 days to write, orchestrate, and prepare the parts for 85 minutes of music. Sony actually produced 2 versions, one with Daniel Amphithiotrop's score in mind, so you could toggle between both, which shows you to such a great extent how the film was affected by the composer's musical vocabulary and approach to film scoring.
When I watched the DVD version, I was absolutely blown away.
Yes.
That they could restore a movie. First of all, the music, the new music, is sensational. I think this man is a genius.
I agree with you.
And I would not, if I were directing or producing, I would hire this guy in a shot.
Yes.
He did a brilliant job.
Although I made a considerable paycheck, I returned to the bank dutifully, not knowing when my next music opportunity would come. It did come, but not till 2 years later. In 2007, I was commissioned by 20th Century Fox to score The Iron Horse, John Ford's seminal silent film which garnered terrific reviews, won our restoration team the coveted Heritage Award for Film Restoration, and awarded me the top 10 film scores of 2007 by Film Score magazine. My first project with 20th Century Fox was as the music producer and composer for the Behemoth DVD box set.
I felt that Christopher Caliendo was the man to go to. He had done a few silent films in the past, as well as the massive score that he had done for Major Dundee.
Our team restored 5 of John Ford's silent films, within which I was asked to write the scores for both The Iron Horse and Four Sons. The Iron Horse received top 10 scores of the year from Film Score Monthly, won the Heritage Award from the Academy of Arts and Sciences. I was asked to conduct the opening night of the Irish Film Festival in Dublin, Ireland at the National Concert Hall with the RTE Orchestra, the entire film to picture. Big thrill for me and my wife and friends was having Los Angeles Philharmonic perform segments of the film and my score at the Hollywood Bowl to celebrate Fox's 75th anniversary. That was a great night. And that year, while still working part-time at Manufacturers Bank, I went on to compose 5 more movies, recorded 2 CDs, sold $22,000 worth of sheet music, well on my way to quitting my daytime job. Riding on the coattails of my success, I met my beloved wife Kristen and married her thinking, my career is established, I'll be fine. After all, I made music history in my theatrical work, as well as film. I had a successful publishing business. I worked for major film studios. My publishing company won 10 top honors for newly published music, and my clarinet concerto was selected by a doctoral student as the subject for their dissertation. And then, the Great Recession came upon us in 2008. My sheet music sales dropped precipitously. All the studio executives I had developed relationships with were dissolved or moved. Teachers were on furlough. No one was buying sheet music. And my music income dropped to $35,000 gross for 2008. I lost my daytime job, and I was again faced with a financial crisis. During this time, I used my savings to support my wife and worked on moving my publishing business to an all-digital online business. The rise of both printing and mailing costs forced me to remodel the entire company. I discontinued my distribution network of 45 retailers nationwide and 11 internationally. Well, 2 years later, I was able to rely on my corporate experience, and I was hired at East West Bank as a marketing executive to help build their commercial and industrial division for an annual salary of $72,000 plus benefits. Why? The soft skill sets I had developed owning an online business were exactly what they were looking for. Attention to detail, entrepreneurship, adaptability, collaboration, open to new experiences, critical thinking, social media marketing, business development marketing, and a variety of software products I had learned as an entrepreneur working from home. Manufacturers Bank 14 months later discovered I was working at East West Bank and recruited me as Vice President of Business Development for a salary of $90,000 plus commissions. While working at Manufacturers Bank between the years 2012 and 2018, I began to take the soft skills that I had learned as a musician and deliberately, consciously apply them to my business development practice. I introduced video marketing to help deepen relationships with centers of influence. I rented out country clubs, no different from renting out a concert hall, and featured guest speakers, no different than musical artists, to provide valuable intelligence on trending subjects for my prospects and clients. I used my entrepreneurial experience to secure better relationships with business owners because, like them, I had owned businesses. In effect, I was like them. I was one of them. My memory skills helped retain biographical information, specific details which surprised both my peers and prospects. My attention to detail in taking notes in a highly organized fashion garnered esteem from my fellow employees. My disciplined approach to solving problems and adjusting to new sales techniques, such as the art of listening, produced more trust within the organization. All in all, 10 awards for distinction and the coveted award for Business Development Officer of the Year. And at the same time, my musical career flourished. The Iron Horse was performed at the Hollywood Bowl to celebrate their 75th anniversary. The entire score was featured as a multimedia event at the National Concert Hall in Dublin, Ireland, where I conducted the score to picture for the festival's opening gala with the RTE Orchestra. I recorded my CD Caliente and Travelin', relaunched my new website, and created the Tutti Academy, an online global event featuring 25 of the most popular flutists sharing their success stories in 1-hour documentary interviews. And most importantly, my dear wife blessed me with a son, Christian Paul. My career in banking continued as I was promoted to Director of Business Development for Bank of Hope with an annual salary of $150,000. While in music, I created Enter Media, a new company that writes, produces, and delivers a high-quality multimedia musical experience customized for art books, comic books, and graphic novels. I recorded my latest CD, Flamenco Americano, remodeled my website, and today I'm composing the music for an off-Broadway musical, Wallace and Windsor. So as you can see, I love music, and I practice the disciplines of performance, composition for both theater and film, self-publishing, recording, conducting, and entrepreneurship to this very day. But if I did not take the chance and use the soft skills I learned as a musician and transition them into the corporate world, more than likely would never have found the proportion and balance I have today. Now please note, I do not expect all of you to become commercial bankers. That's not my point. You all are unique. You all have different talents. You will all have different journeys. But you would not be here today interested in this course if you were not willing how to discover, how to integrate your creative skill sets as assets in the business world. My testimony, my journey, my successes, my failures I have experienced are shared only to earn your confidence and trust not only this course, but my ability to teach it from experience, both as a musician and as a corporate executive. This course will teach you the top 5 soft skills in demand by industries today. Adaptability and how to develop it. The top 5 creative jobs. The advantages of musicians having a corporate job. Applying for a corporate position. A portfolio career. The benefits for musicians. How to have a musical career while having a corporate job. How to have a musical career with a steady income while incorporating those proportion and balance skills necessary in maintaining a lifestyle of multiple part-time jobs. In essence, becoming a musician's portfolio career course. It will also feature top executives from the worlds of wealth management, human resources, music entrepreneurs who have built large companies based on their creativity, and CEOs of companies who have hired creative people and why. My wish for you is that you benefit from my own experience, that you learn to apply the skill sets you already possess in new and transformative ways, that you find proportion and balance in developing your own personal growth and enjoyment of life. So let's begin with Module 1 to learn what are the soft skills inherently learned by musicians that are in demand by businesses today.